What's going on, everyone? So, one of the things that I'd really like to see the Lakers acquire with the 55th pick is a 3-and-D versatile wing. I think outside of the center position, it's one of the bigger needs, but I also think that there's the potential to find a guy, particularly in this draft, late in the second round, that can have an immediate impact on this team and be a rotation piece, be a guy that can do multiple things out there, where any center in the second round, they're all kind of project guys, right? Like a Rocco, who a lot of Laker fans want, right? He's a project guy. How many minutes is he going to get? How much opportunity is he going to get? Where I think you can find the right kind of 3-and-D wing that can come in and immediately play some quality minutes for the Lakers. And the Lakers need that size, that athleticism, that versatility out there badly. Right, it's another need, and I'd rather the Lakers kind of look to go get and acquire, a more ready now starting center as well as a backup, right? Even if it is a Clint Capella and like a Jericho Sims or something like that, that's just kind of my preference. And one of the guys that I think could make an immediate impact, makes a ton of sense for the Lakers, and can slot in anywhere really 2 through 4, but more so 2 in the 3. And I actually think would be great slotted alongside a Luka Doncic is the Duke University, which I'm a big Duke guy, Scion James. So Scion James is 6'6" in size, but he's 220 pounds, and he is strong, he is big, he is physical, he is an exceptional ball handler, and he has a great downhill speed, but he can also shoot the ball. He shot 50% on spot-up shooting, which... guess what? He'd be slotted alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James, right? Guess what he's getting? A ton of spot-up looks, right? He's going to be a guy that is going to just have to stand there, catch the ball, catch and shoot, right? And he shot 50% in those in college. Now, not necessarily expecting him to shoot 50% come, the NBA time, right? Because it's very different. But can he be, in the 40s? Right? Can he be, 43% on catch and shoot threes or spot up threes, right? Like that would be huge. And then his ability to defend multiple positions. He's athletic, he's physical, he's strong, he's got good size, good weight to him. He can kind of be a bit of a bowling ball type of guy that can just put his head down and get to the basket, finish through contact, right? He's a guy that I really like. He's 22 years old, which the Lakers have always liked, kind of the more seasoned college players, guys that are kind of up there in age compared to like the 18-year-old projects, right? I think a guy like him is a guy that can come in and make an immediate impact, but still be a piece and still be young enough for the future, right? He's a guy that I can see not getting played off the court defensively. He's that pit bull guy. He's going to get after it. He's going to work hard. He can be kind of that secondary playmaker on times. He's got decent vision. He's not a guy I'd want like running the point or anything like that, but he's a guy that can continue to be the swing man, which is very valuable. And then on top of that, be a guy that can, be a 3-and-D style guy and continue to show that growth and development. So I really like the idea of him. Yes, again, you could look at the center position and go like, if Rocco, let's say, does fall to the 55th pick, I do think the Lakers will probably take him just because his upside and his abilities are something that I think would be hard to pass up. But there are a lot of questions about Rocco and can he translate to the modern NBA? If this was 10, 15 years ago, he'd probably be a first round project, prospect, maybe even higher, like later or earlier in the first round. If this was kind of not today's NBA where you want guys with spacing. You know what you can't have an abundance of? 3-and-D wings. Right? You know what you can't have too many of? 6'6" to 6'9" guys that could just spread the floor and do multiple things out there. Right? Again, I really like the idea of bringing in a guy like a Sion that can come in and just, again, kind of immediately fill in a role. Right? Because Lakers are going to need cheap, young, versatile players. Right? They're probably going to trade for a Nick Claxton or a Daniel Gafford or one of these guys, right? They're probably going to make a move to go get a starting caliber center, right? They don't have a ton of cap space. They're looking at vet minimum guys, right? For the most part, yeah, they could free up they might have their full, tax, or they might have their taxpayer mid-level. They could free up their full mid-level exception, depending on what LeBron does. But realistically, you're probably looking at your mid-level or taxpayer mid-level exception. Right? So if Lakers have their taxpayer mid-level, like who are you going to get? that's going to be that good and that impact. And even then, you're still going to need young, cheap prospects that can come in. There's already talks about a guy like Bronny James potentially earning rotation minutes if he continues to take the strides that we saw towards the back end of the season. Why? Because we need a guy like him badly. If he could be Gabe Vincent, but more athletic, perfect. The Lakers need that badly, right? Especially over an 82 game season. Now, come playoff time, is he a guy that is going to get the opportunity in the playoffs? I don't know, right? I think it depends on how good he is in the regular season. But again, a guy like Sion, I think kind of is in the same mold. Right? A guy that gives you the size, slot in at the 2, slot in at the 3, can be that defensive guy. He's not going to get bullied and pushed around. He's strong, he's physical, good lower center of gravity, right? He's a guy that has a good first step and can kind of just bully his way to the basket. Right? He's a guy that can kind of, put his head down, get to the basket, but also knock down, create a little bit for himself, create a little bit for others. Now, he's not a guy that I necessarily look at as like, oh, this guy could be a superstar or anything like that, but you never know. Like, I don't ever want to put a cap on these young guys. 22 years old, he's not so old that it's like, oh man, like, what are the Lakers thinking, right? He's not, 27, right? So there's still plenty of room for growth, development. Spend the next 5 years and he's just kind of like, the ninth guy off the bench in an 82 game season, and then by year 3 he's actually in the starting unit or coming off the bench. And you got to think he's going to have guys like LeBron James that he's going to be able to learn and build off of. He's going to have guys even like Dorian Finney-Smith, who is greatly impactful, right? And does the hustle plays and does the dirty work, and it has a similar comp. Right? Like they do have a lot of similarities as far as like just the strength and the size, right? Dorian Finney-Smith was one of the only forwards to defend 5s this year, right? Like he was literally defending 1 through 5. Like I talk about it all the time. Get a guy that can defend 1 through 5. Dorian Finney-Smith literally was that. Like not just for the Lakers, for the Brooklyn Nets also. Right? So again, like a guy like Scion James could come in, learn from a LeBron James, learn from a Dorian Finney-Smith, learn even from a Jared Vanderbilt, right? And these guys on just like being the hustle plays, doing the dirty work, being the high impact guy, finding ways to impact the game beyond just shooting the basketball, right? But he is a guy that has a good shot, that can knock down the 3 ball with consistency, particularly spot up, catch and shoot 3s, which guess what he's going to be getting all game? Spot up, catch and shoot 3s. Right? Hey, you know exactly what you did in college? Yeah, we just need you to do that here. Right? So to me, I look at it and I go, like, he would be an ideal fit and scenario. Right? Maybe I have a little bias because I'm a Duke guy, but I've also watched a lot of him play because I'm a Duke guy. So I kind of have a grasp on what I could see him translating to be. And he's a guy that I do think out of the second round, right, he's a guy that I really do think could be an impact guy immediately, right? A guy that is going to come in, know his role, accept his role. Again, kind of more seasoned college player coming from a pristine program like Duke. Lakers have had a lot of success with those guys. I mean, even in the playoffs right now, look at all the former Lakers that they drafted in the second round and undrafted and all that stuff, right? And just like role guys. You look at Josh Hart, you look at Alex Caruso, right? I mean, Ivaka Zubac, right? Julius Randle, who obviously, was a lottery pick, but still, like, he's a guy that, again, was a Laker. Like, you look throughout the league, even guys like Larry Nance Jr., right? Austin Reeves on the Lakers currently. Lakers have guys kind of scattered all over the league that have been really good, impactful role, rotation, starting level players for a lot of these other teams because the Lakers scouting department really just was able to hit on these guys. And I do think Sion is one of those guys that the Lakers could potentially be another hit on and be a rotation guy. Good rebounder at the guard position, guy that has good size, right? Good athleticism, good versatility, right? He's not, the thing is one, it's his age, right? Because people are going to ask, okay, well, if he's that good, why is he a second round pick? One is because of his age, and 2, he's not like elite at anything specific, right? Which is why I don't think he's really going to be a star or a superstar. I think he'll be a legit 3-and-D wing in this league. I think he'll be a guy that you can put on and defend and hold his own against pretty much anybody, right? Knock down the 3 ball with some consistency and regularity, right? Now, as far as like the cons, right? Like he needs to learn to defend at an NBA level. It's easier in college because he is strong, he is physical, he is able to kind of, use his strength to kind of push these guys around and not get beat off dribble. Once you get to the pro level, right, where you got a lot of guys that are strong and physical and whatnot, especially come playoff time and stuff like that, right? Like he's a project. You're going to need to work with him, but he is a guy that I think isn't so much of a project he can't contribute right away. I think he's a project that can actually play a role right now and be an impact guy. Be a guy that can knock down the three ball on catch and shoots, can defend multiple positions, and again, has those strengths that you want. He's not particularly like, oh, he is so good at X, Y, and Z that like, I don't understand. Like, no, he would be a guy that is one of those. I mean, look at Dalton Connect because of his age. He was supposed to be a lottery pick. He was supposed to be taken when Zach Edey ended up taken. That's why, Zach Edey and Dalton Connect essentially switched draft slots, right? And Dalton Connect fell all the way to 17 to the Lakers, and he was supposed to be a lottery pick. Now imagine a guy in Sion that was like, the 7th guy at Duke, right? Like, of course he's going to fall to the 2nd round, right? And so he's a guy that I'd really like to see. He has, again, his main outliers, right? Because like I said, he's not like a superstar at anything specific, but his main outliers are his strength in ball handling for a wing. He's got really good ball handling skills, right? He can handle the basketball, not turn it over, and make the occasional plays. He's a guy that I could see being, just a versatile defensive piece that can get you, a handful of assists a game, grab a handful of boards a game, and then, maybe I could see him maybe being like a 12-5-5 guy, right? At some point, not necessarily this season, but like, at some point, but just being able to defend multiple positions, right? Be a real starting level role player on a Lakers team. And that's all you need. Not everyone has to be a superstar, especially in the 2nd round, right? He's a guy that I really do like the upside and potential. But as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel what your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.